How do you feel? How do you feel that we can continue? Are your feelings big enough so we can continue? That's very, very important. Feeling again. So don't be afraid when you continue meeting somebody to remain yourself, to really remain yourself. Be curious about the circle of friends because that says a lot about people too. Today's video I dedicate to relationships because it's a thing, it has been brought to me many times that it has many, many, many problems. And I think the issue starts with why we go in a relationship, with our real intentions why we go in a relationship. You might say, well, it's always the same intention to have somebody. Well, what is the real intention behind it? That is important. The intention for a relationship should be, first of all, for the long haul, not just for the moment. That will not work well. That is a friendship for a while, maybe a friendship with benefits. The intention for a relationship is very clear. It should be authentic love. But there is many other intentions, sometimes even subconscious, sometimes even conscious. So one of it is, we are by ourselves for a while, we feel lonely, we want somebody. So we start looking, and that is the first wrong thing we do. But you will say, how I'm going to find if I don't look? Well, the truth is, in a true relationship with good chemistry and good love, you find each other. That has always been this way and will not change. Even it doesn't sound logical, but it is logical. And that is my experience for doing my job for decades now, working with couples that, well, they have little hang-nails and problems in their relationship. So we always look where the intentions were. There's the first intention we have sometimes, it's a physical attraction. We are physically attracted to each other. And we think it is love because we desire. It can be, but most of the time it's not. It's just the excitement of lust. Nothing wrong with lust, but just tell you what it does to a relationship. That after a while gets old, goes down. What's behind it? Where are the real feelings, the deep feelings? Where is the desire for the heart? Yeah, for the heart, for the love, for we make it. And I saw one time one thing, and it is very true. A perfect relationship, first of all, there is no perfect, we know that, but I just use the word perfect. A perfect relationship is when two imperfect people know and work to make it perfectly work for them. That is how a relationship works. So, intention once we had, it's our attraction, our physical attraction. Number two is, I already mentioned it, being alone, feeling lonely. And we settle for something which is a little bit comfortable. We go out, we meet, we maybe have something is missing. And after a while we find out it is not ideal and we break up again. And we do the same thing, we break up again. We're in a cycle of looking for something we hope to find and don't let it find us. What I mean by that is, you meet somebody, you see it is attraction there, not the lust. Wow. Then you start talking to that person and it sounds nice. After a while it even sounds familiar. There's a situation when you talk to somebody for an hour or two, or the second or third time, it already feels familiar. A good feeling, a good vibes exchanging each other. You feel drawn to each other as a person, not even paying much attention to the physical attraction because they come anyhow. And you look behind it. What's the character? How does a person speak? How respectful? What manners? All those little things, they're very, very important. Trust me. In the long run, they're important, not in the beginning, because in the beginning, we're very euphoric about it. We have somebody. So that will not work out too. So you need to get out of the cycle always meeting the wrong person. But therefore, to meet the wrong person, you need to be the right person as well when you start uh, changing your personal billboard to attract the person. Don't put a sales pitch on how good you are. Don't put a sales pitch on wearing your most sexy dress. And man, don't put your sales pitch on driving the nice car and the expensive cologne. No. I think being authentic is just be as you are. Don't use a sales pitch. Don't polish you up. Because the mask you're wearing right now to get somebody comes down sooner or later. And then both of you are disappointed. So that makes relationship already complicated if you put a mask on. Why not just go in your jeans or in your dress you wore for work or and just meet the person and show the person you are. That will make it a lot easier to establish real attraction. Okay? So, and now comes the third part. A lot of people go in relationships nowadays. It has to do with money. To be taken care of. To not have to flip all the bills by themselves. That doesn't go well over either. Because money is printed on paper. You put a lighter on it, it burns. You pay your bills, it's gone. But love can stay. Can stay. And here comes the phrase when we say, well, I fell in love. Let that go down your tongue. I fell in love. Falling in love means you have and you build a fire with nice dry wood, with straw, with hay, with paper, and the flame goes high and beautiful, but it burns down. If we don't want it to burn down, we need to run all the time to get new wood and put it in there so the fire keeps going. So it's a lot of work, right? But when we let our affection to another and our sympathy and chemistry grow and plant the seeds of love, it's like planting a tree. It grows and the roots go deep and it will stay solid. That a tree with solid roots will fall in a wind. It's not so easy. Then the wind comes and blows the fire all over. And blows the fire all over, what does it mean? It will burn our environment as well because we're unhappy. We become unhappy. And not only in a relationship, it carries on to work. It carries on with our friends. Our friends separate. Some of them say, well, do this. The other ones say, do that. And we get confused. More complications come in a relationship. More complications. His friend or her friend say that, and this say that, and this. And it divides even more than it would help to fix it. And sometimes when we fix something, it can work better than even before. I had that many times happen as well in my career. So the intentions you see in a relationship should not be complicated. The intention should not be a sales pitch. Be authentic. And here is my advice. Meet somebody. Don't look for somebody. You meet somebody randomly. You say, do we have coffee or dinner? If it's a nice attraction by the human being, not just by the looks, and you agree to it, don't fix yourself up, guys and girls. Don't try to impress. Be you. That will impress. And when you be you, you make the relationship simple, both of you. And I will continue with relationships in my next video. That is part 2 of my relationship video. Last time we had what the intentions are, the real intentions. We had the 3 different kind of tensions: lust, money, loneliness. So let's say we get over that and go to the first step. We meet somebody, intentionally or not intentionally, and we feel attracted. Not only physical, attracted. It is the way the person looks, of course, talks, smiles, how we perceive their character, what speaks to us besides words. And that is very important. We have to see what speaks to us, because in this moment we feel comfortable with a person. And it is one of the major things when you meet somebody new. How comfortable do you start feeling with that person and that person with you? How open can you communicate with each other? How honest can you communicate with each other? When I say honest, I don't mean you lie. When I mean honest, I mean sometimes we feel something we're afraid to say. We feel something we're afraid to follow up on. What happens when we do that? If both do it, nothing really gets accomplished. If both are like the energy of each other and they don't articulate it, how would they know? If nobody of those two would say, you know, it's fun, I'm really interested in you, how would they both know? So, going a little bit into the area of men and women being equal, because that is an important thing about a relationship. And it starts when we meet. And we go back, traditionally, it was always the man who was expected to take the initiative, to say, well, can I invite you for ice cream, coffee, whatever it was. That should not be anymore this way. I personally, a very strong believer that the woman has the right as well to make the first step. You're both equal partners. So there is nothing wrong when a woman says, you know what? I just saw you and I'm curious. I would like to talk to you for a minute. There's nothing wrong with it. And we declare that somebody gets hit on. You might declare it whatever it is. I declare it as being honest and showing interest. Yes, showing interest. Our time is so fast paced that we sometimes forget we have interest in something and we turn around and our interest goes to something else. And then after a while, man, there was something I was really interested in and it's gone. Nobody there to talk to. Nobody. Because that person, he or she, already went on. Even they might have felt the same way. You might say, why did that person not talk to me? Here it comes down again. What I said. If both wait for something, you wait forever. You wait forever. One has to take the initiative. Why me? Why not you? Why not you? It's your life too. It's your life. And it is your maybe future relationship. So, men and women out there, don't judge. If somebody takes the first step and says, I'm sorry that I interrupt your day, but I'm curious because you caught my attention. Nothing wrong. Oh, now comes the other pessimist. But if she or he got a girlfriend, boyfriend, hey, how would you know if they wouldn't tell you? So if you say, you caught my attention, and the other person says, well, I have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or I'm even married, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. There was no further emotional investment, just curiosity. Just curiosity. And this curiosity gives you an answer where you stand. And this answer, where we stand, is needed from the beginning. If there is a beginning, we need it. If there's not a beginning, we have it too. There's only two answers, a yes or no. Maybe will not work either. Maybe does not work in an emotional case of interest in another person, becoming friends, even partner up. Maybe it's not in the vocabulary. It's a yes or no. Somebody walks up to you and says, well, you just caught my eye. You pay attention and it's catching you too. The smile, even the courage to talk to you and tell you that there's curiosity and an interest. That isn't it flattering? I think it is flattering for both. So don't judge. Don't judge. Just take it. There is a person with courage started talking to me. And a person with courage is good because courage is good in a relationship too. Both need to have courage to make a relationship work. So, are we over that judgment? Man should always start, woman cannot start? No. We are both the same when it comes to emotional work of interest, starting a relationship, perhaps. So, get rid of that. Okay. Some old thinking does not work in our time anymore. We have changed, we have evolved, we opened our mind. We have a variety of vocabulary we didn't have many, many years ago where we can really honestly do the first step to communication. It's not when we talk about hitting on somebody, I don't mean hey baby, you call me often. No, I mean, hi, I'm sorry, but you just caught my interest in my eye. You have a minute to talk. No, I don't have a minute to talk. Okay, would you like to talk some other time when you have friends? Yes or no? If the person has the interest in you, they will find a way, at least to talk a couple minutes, exchange numbers. If the person is not interested, you know where you stand. You don't have to develop more interest or more curiosity. If the person says, no, no, I don't feel like it. Hey, good for you. You don't waste your time and the other person's time. So, again, no judgment when it comes to the first contact in a relationship. Have your mind open, have your heart open, and use the right narrative. Have courage, have curiosity, have respect and manners. And that is a good start for a possible good relationship. And part 3 of relationship is coming soon here too. Now I'm here with part 3 of relationships, and I want to get a little bit on how we can, from the beginning, make sure that it is not a complete downfall. And like I mentioned before in my videos, what is important is intentions from both of the people they meet. And we all know we're human, and that is a good thing. So we meet somebody and we get enthusiastic by something, by the looks, by the smile, by the voice, whatever it is. We get enthusiastic and we just rush in. Don't rush in, you can trip. What does that mean? There's a big no-no, I can tell you, out of my experience from 40 years working with couples, working with singles, working with people. When you start meeting somebody later on in age, 30, 40, 50, 60, you already lived a life, you already had your disappointments with past relationships, otherwise you would be still in a relationship. The big no-no here is, when you meet the first few times, lay that whole negativity about the past out on the table. No matter how much you into each other, both parts, that's a little bit of turnoff. Because when we get excited and talk about our past experience, we sometimes use vocabulary which is not so appealing. What do you mean by that, Andre? Will people ask me? What I mean is, well, my ex, he sure was a toxic woman, a toxic man. He was narcissist. She was a narcissist, and she was a slob, and it goes on and on. This is a narrative that automatically makes the other party go back. And don't bring luggage from the past into the new relationship. I mean, emotional luggage. If you have a kid or two, of course, they're part of the relationship. And that should be from the beginning very clear too. If you have a kid or two, to say, yes, we're nice, we meet, but I'm a single dad, I'm a single mom, I have a kid or I have two. That should be clear. And that's where you also see the right intentions of people. When they say, okay, how old they are, what they do, and it's going to get really interested, and you're showing pictures, and they look at that, and watch their face when they look at it. Watch their face. If they say, well, very nice, or they say, hey, I think the eyes are not from you, but a very nice kid. Looks like a sportsman, or looks like a cheerleader girl, or whatever. When they go in and try to see something in the child, that is very important, because your child or the other party's child will be part of, well, we tried really hard, but it didn't work out. And so we're just separated. I don't want to get into it because it's past. I live in the now and for the future. Do you too? When you say do you too, what does it do? Really, really strong suggestion. That's how you started. And that's part of the intentions too. The second thing, and I told you that before and I will repeat it, don't come as a sales pitch to the meeting, to the date, to the dinner, to the theater, wherever you go. Come as a normal you. Wear the dress you wear regularly, the jeans you wear regularly, the jacket, the polo shirt, whatever it is, be you. Ladies, don't make your face a colorful work of art, just be you. You say, well, I want to look nice. Yes, you can look nice. Or guys, you will maybe not have the perfect hairdo or the perfect trim beard or the perfect shave or whatever it is. Be you. If the person in the beginning sees you as you are and they develop excitement for you, curiosity for you as you are, there is no higher expectations. So, the funny part is that if you come there as a you, and they really like you and want to bond with you and they're excited about you, about each other, later on you might go to an opera, to a dance, and you know each other for a while. That's when you beef it up a little bit. Huh? That is a surprise. Wow. That is a side I didn't see in that person yet. Get it step by step. Okay? Don't open all your Christmas presents already on July 4th into a relationship carefully. If there was a really hurtful breakup and the last times, month, or years in your previous relationship hurtful as well, make sure you don't bleed on the new person. Get it out of your way. The new person has nothing to do with the old person in the relationship. She has the same hair color than my ex. It has nothing to do with the new person. Okay? Don't judge. Keep your mind open so you can see what's behind that person. And when I see behind the person, their character, their interests, and see what matches. After you meet a couple of times, a conversation and says, I think we could tell each other what our intention is on meeting because we were alone and about bonding emotionally, physically, and as a couple. I will tell you in relationship part 4. Like I promised you, part 4 of relationships. And as I told you last time, when you have the first meetings, just be yourself. Dress yourself how you feel comfortable. Don't pretend to be somebody you're not. Because it fires back. It fires back. Leave your special looks for later to create special moments. They're needed when you go on. You meet the first few times, and I told you also, no, don't put all your negative experience and old luggage, the first meetings out on a table. They might not match, and maybe it's hard to digest for the other, or when the other one does it, hard to digest for you. That can destroy the progress of meeting. We're always afraid when we don't put on our sales pitch and show the best we are in the beginning, that we mess up the date. You cannot mess up a date. You cannot. Only if you do the wrong things you can mess it up. If you pretend to be somebody else, you're not. If you show the best side from the beginning around, he sees you in the morning waking up with wrinkled up face and hair all over the place, you know. So it always is the best to be you. And we cannot mess up the date if we're us. Because our life is us. It's your life. It's your own personality. And it is the identity you created during your life. Of course you can improve. And you will. Why can't we mess up? Because if a person cannot take us who we are, we don't messing up. We just don't waste time with the wrong person. And that would be the wrong person. If the person cannot take you as you are, what's later on? So if, worst case, worst scenario, the day doesn't work out after 2, 3 meetings, 4 meetings, part in peace. Part in peace. Don't regret it. It's an experience. It's an experience. The experience to know what you don't want. Or if the other person tells you that he is not or she is not so into you like you maybe be there, it saves you a lot of trouble. Because what's later on? It's out of balance. If one of the two decide not to continue, it has a reason. And don't chase 50% if you could have 100. So you cannot mess up the first date. A non-match is a non-match. You know that. And just think about yourself. You have a person, looks okay, talks okay, but it is not really the cozy feeling you expect to create a chemistry where love can grow. Why would you continue? And the other person has the same right. So there is no messing up when we meet people and get to know them. What it does, it saves us for trouble later. So be yourself, dress yourself. The best thing you can do. And if you have to part because you're not a match, do it peacefully and say, well, that was a fun experience. At least now I know more what I don't want. And that automatically narrows down what you really want and what you need in your life. And if we go in a companionship, in a new companionship, no matter how old we are, no matter how old we are, it's nothing to do with age. We want harmony. We want things in common. Yes, and we want to be respected and loved. Simple as that. And it has to be not 50-50, like I said before. 100 and 100 it has to be. The worst thing some people do when they go in a new relationship, before they even started, they have entitlements on it. That will not work either. Because an entitlement is already with restrictions, with expectations. Expect one thing only: to connect, to be heard, to be present, to be important. And expect from yourself that you feel the other person is important to you too. You can bond with the other person too and to develop a very endearing conversation and life later on. Not just for now. If you say to yourself, well, it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing, you invite already the nothing into it. Because when you settle for mediocre, you don't settle. You will continue in your mind looking for not mediocre. And then where it ends up, we know. I don't have to explain that. So settling for mediocre should not be in any place or circumstance. It should be really something you have in your mind that it lasts for the long haul. And the long haul is always, I go back when I started, when you're from the beginning, be yourself. Also, we make a lot of mistakes. We start interviewing. Now just have a conversation. What do you think? What do you like? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that or this? Always use the word feeling. How do you feel about it? Not how you think about it. How do you feel? Because feelings in a relationship are very important. And that's why our narrative has to be about feelings. How do you feel about that? And I saw it so many times with many clients. They say, well, how did the conversation go? Did you talk about what's on their mind? How it's going to continue? Yeah, I told them. How you see that going to go on? How do you see? How do you feel? How do you feel that we can continue? Are your feelings big enough so we can continue? That's very, very important. Feeling again. So don't be afraid when you continue meeting somebody to remain yourself, to really remain yourself. Be curious about the circle of friends, because that says a lot about people too. A lot. How long do you have your friends? Oh, that's nice. Oh, are your friends interested in sports like you, or do they do this or that? Be interested in their closer circle and see when you do that if they're interested in your closer circle as well. Because, like I said, it has to be 100 and 100. It is not. It is not progress if one puts everything out and the other one hides. No, don't hide. Say how you feel and ask the other person how you feel as well. And that's when you can make progress. Feelings are important. And more about that in my next video about relationship. Now I'm with number 5 of relationships. We learned a lot about and heard about how it's gonna start. Let's say it goes well. You will meet again and again. And here, you really have to listen into yourself. It's not about the excitement, the visual excitement, the intimacy excitement. It's about listening into yourself. And what I mean with that is, don't be overcritical, but listen into yourself how comfortable it feels for you, how comfortable it feels to be together with that person, have conversations with that person, being intimate with the person, even having serious discussions about the future. Now here, we have to separate it already a little bit. There will be, for many, the first very serious commitment where you look further in to starting a family. And the second part is, for some people, they start over again thinking about creating a family. That's two different categories. And I will cover that in my videos. And to give you a little hint, if you ever go in the first serious relationship considering building a family, you do not have the experience of a past committed relationship, a marriage. You might not have baggage from that. You might not have pains from that, thinking it was forever, but it didn't last forever. So you don't have that. So it's really a clean start. And a clean start can also be if you go into the second or third round, whatever you go, to rebuild yourself for the long haul. It is very important here, very, very, very important, that you do not let the weight of the past weigh down your new relationship by comparing. Do not compare, because even there's similarities, a person is completely different. Just give you a little example. If somebody cuts some meat on his plate, like somebody who disappointed you in the past, if somebody drinks the water like a person in the past, doesn't make him the same person. There's only so many ways we can cut the meat and drink the water, so there will be similarities out there. Still a different person. Keep this always in mind. Okay? So, what I mean also is, if you really have big pain from the past, and that happened, people hurt each other badly, don't just put a band-aid over it. Heal it. And be honest about it. What I mean with that, if you really, 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 really have this cozy feeling with a new person and feel a tremendous comfortable with this new person, and the other way around too, don't be afraid to say, well, there's a little bit of healing I still have to do. What about you? Maybe this person has some too. Okay? Maybe not. But let's heal together. Yes. Heal together without bleeding on each other. Heal together to step out of the cycle from the past and create a new path for the two of you. By different, more open, more honest communication. By more honest communication, I mean, don't be afraid to articulate peacefully your feelings. To say, I'm not feeling good today. I still love you. But something, since this morning I had a bad dream, and I cannot just jump out and push a button and it's gone. It's still weighing me down. Be honest about it. So the other person doesn't have to guess or assume something is wrong. Know what I mean? Make it right. Make it right together. And that is really very important with two narratives. The narratives you feed your mind yourself, and the narrative you use in your communication. Be authentic. Don't pretend. If you don't feel like talking when you get up in the morning, tell the person, I had a bad dream. To wake up, it's nothing between the two of us. It's just between me and the dream. And if the other person really loves you and is mindful, say, what was your dream? And then say what your dream was. Say how you felt in the dream and how you feel now after the dream. You know what happens if you do that? And the other person shows understanding? Yes, it becomes easier. And the other way around, of course, too. It's always a two-way street. And I want to stress again, a relationship is not 50-50. It's 100 and 100. Every person has to be 100% in it, 100% committed, and feel 100% comfortable with the other person. When you set the base for the long haul and for the long happy haul, which is very, very important here. Because we don't want to fall back in old pattern. We don't want to attract old pattern. No, we want to get rid of old pattern and establish new ones to serve us and the relationship better. Yes, us as well. New pattern we might adopt it we're not even aware of because it became part of our life. So adjust that and you feel better in the beginning. And if you feel better, the partner feels better. And the other way around too, if your partner feels better, you feel better. It's an energetic, positive cycle. Positive, not sugarcoating. Even if you are chosen to find the love of your life, not every day will be the same. There will be some heavier days. There will be some days you don't feel yourself. We do that, we are human. But don't think it is a relationship. It is just a temporary moment. And don't let a temporary moment shadows over the sun of the new relationship you started and you feel comfortable in it, the partner too. And again, I mentioned it in all the videos before, it is paramount to know your intention in the relationship, why you're going in this relationship, and know the intention of the other person as well. The wrong intentions will create the wrong relationship. Don't do it for financial stability. Don't do it for loneliness. Do it strict to feel comfortable and at home with that person, no matter where you're at. Do it strict because you have these deep loving feelings. Because that are strong feelings. Don't let anything and anybody weaken that feelings. If you say, we don't love every day the same way, wrong. We do. We do. Sometimes just our focus is based on what happened. The feeling is the same. It just gets for a moment temporarily distracted by other things we focus on or other things happen. But the feeling should never go up and down because of a circumstance from the outside or even a circumstance of a dream, a circumstance of a bad meal, a circumstance of light music with a neighbor. That should never interfere with our feelings of love. And we talk more about it in my next video.